Massacre of East Timor. If East Timor is a country now, which capital is Delhi, Delhi is capital of East Timor. East Timor is an island. Timor is an island in kind of, you can say, that falls in a region where Indonesia country exists. East Timor. So it is 500 kilometers north of Australia. Darwin is the north of the Australia. Then north of the Darwin point 500 kilometer, there is a country called East Timor. That is eastern part of an island that is Timor. I believe it is around 30,000 square kilometer is the island. So East Timor Island, and it is east side and west side. East side is a country called East Timor and west side is a country called Indonesia. So West Timor, East Timor. Inside the West Timor there is a district of East Timor also. So inside the West Timor district, inside the West Timor region that is part of Indonesia, there is a district that is surrounded by Indonesia. That district is also part of East Timor. East Timor is a country. Massacre of East Timor. The massacre that will be remembered in thousands and thousands of years. Means it looks like the Malay archipelago. We call it Malay archipelago. That is Philippines, and then Borneo Island, then Celeb Island, and then Sundan. I believe that is the word, that Sunline Islands like Sumatra and Java, and Celeb Island, and then Bali, and then Bali, and then Timor, and then Papua Guinea, New Papua Guinea. Okay, there is no mother and father of these areas. Anyone can kill anyone. These are part of Indian subcontinent. But India post 1947, this is what I call it. Post 1947, you will see only massacres. Post 1947, Xinjiang, the way the People Liberation Army that did with the Xinjiang Uyghur people post 1949, it is going on. It is not hidden with anyone. 1951 to 1959, whatever the massacre, I would say the bloodbath happened in Tibet by Chinese army, it is not hidden by anyone. 1947 India partition, the massacre, the genocide happened in Pakistan and Bangladesh region, East Pakistan, is not hidden by anyone. Recently, the genocide happened of the Rohingya in Burma. It's not hidden by anyone. The death, or this is called death, of the local Andamanese people, they were in 1 lakh. Now they reduced to hundreds. This is not hidden from anyone. The massacre of Iraq, and then situation in Iran, then Afghanistan, post 1947, when a very different party that took control of India in 1947, Indian subcontinent saw a very different kind of hatred for minority everywhere. People, Burma, people are kicking out minority. Pakistan, people are kicking out minority. China means, for them Xinjiang and Tibet are minority as per the population of China, kicking out minority. Bangladesh kicking out minority. Now in Andaman Nicobar, outsiders are major. They are doing agriculture, kicking out the actual local tribes. Okay, same Afghanistan, same Iran, and same Iraq, and everywhere it is same. So there is kind of no tolerance for anyone who is weak. This is what happened for the Timoros. So if we see, then Timor was the why there is a problem. Means what is the Indonesia and what is Timor? So Indonesia, whatever we see Indonesia nowadays, it is a Dutch colony. So Dutch used to call it East Indies, Dutch East Indies. Like there was a company in India called East India Company from Britain. So Dutch used to call that region as East Dutch East Indies, Eastern Indies, Eastern India. So Dutch East Indies, when it got independence from Dutch people, I believe in 1975, then it becomes a sovereignty country, Indonesia. Okay, whereas in inside Indonesia there can be many other problems. But whatever Dutch, because people think Java culture, Sumatran culture, Bali culture, Timor culture, Celeb culture, and then Kali in Kalimantan Island, Borneo Island, still Indonesia is there. How come this become a country? Actually, Dutch people came and they make this region as their colony. Not only this, Andaman Nicobar also. So they sold that area to Britain, Andaman Nicobar. Okay, because Britain needed Andaman Nicobar because it was doing kind of trade through ocean area region, ocean media to around the world. So they needed those islands. So Dutch sold those islands to Britain. Local people, they don't know anything. Like Dutch, they controlled full Malay archipelago. From Borneo, I think they did not cover the Philippines, but Borneo, Sumatra, Java, and this Andaman Nicobar, Celeb Island, and then Bali, and then Timor. Everything it was controlled by Dutch. And now, when Dutch left this region, that region became Indonesia. Indonesia is not a country. Like before, Britishers arrived into India, then full region of the India was different country. It was controlled by Muslims, Mughal. So they had territory from India, northern part of India mostly, and then they were still kind of Afghanistan and Iran, those sides. But when British came, they had different India. So earlier it was Hindustan, now it became British India. Like there would be many countries in the Indonesia now, but when Dutch came, they controlled full area and they call it Dutch Indies, Dutch East Indies. So now when Dutch left, that since they had already sold Andaman Nicobar to Britishers, rest whatever Dutch has control, it became Indonesia. So in Borneo Island, the southern part and central part was with the Dutch, so that became Indonesia. Whereas the northern part, not the central, northern part, it becomes two countries. So Brunei is the country now. So Brunei was somehow they had oil field and whatever, so they could sustain with their own economy. So they could carve out their country as Brunei. Otherwise, whatever it was, other than Brunei, kind of uh, uh, Sabah, I think Sabah and Sarva or something like that. So the Sabah region and Sarvar or some region, these two regions came to Malaysia because Malaysia was part of British colony. So British colony turned into Malaysia, Dutch colony turned into Indonesia, and whatever the Brunei king could keep it, that became Brunei. Now the Timor, it has west area, east area. The eastern part of the Timor is Portuguese. Portugal is another country which has colony in the eastern part of the Timor. So the eastern part of the Timor, when it got independence from Portuguese, then that became East Timor, and West Timor, that was Dutch, became Indonesia because that was given to Indonesia. Inside the West Timor, there is a district that was controlled by Portuguese. The Portuguese were controlling some region inside the Dutch area, and then East Timor. So that became East Timor. Okay, so Malaysia got independence from British in 1957. Then Indonesia got independence in 1975. Okay, I believe around that Timor also would have got independence. It's a small island. Now, when Indonesia got independence from Portuguese in 1975, then they entered with the army in East Timor in 1975 August time, full-fledged army, and they started killing whoever they found. So Australian reporters, Chinese migrants, Chinese shopkeepers, they also got killed. Whoever came in the path of Indonesian army, they got slaughtered. They wanted to mix the, they started feeling that Indonesia is their country and this is the only part it is left with from them. Anyway, the East Timor, that East Timor part, and then the district inside the West Timor, that is Catholic Christian. So the people there, they converted from the Portugal. So Portugal is did not do only the trade or colony, they converted people into Christianity. Okay, so that is the reality. So now they wanted to make the, there is, I don't believe there is a religion war, but they wanted to make, at that 1975 Indonesia had 26 states. Now they wanted 27th state as the East Timor. If that is the case, then they attacked on it. They would have tried first with the diplomatic way that Timor would kind of accession of the East Timor or annexation to the Indonesia. Way when they did not agree, that's why Australian reporters were there. Means heat was going on. At the end, when this Indonesia felt that they are not one, they do not want to mix with us because if you see the East Timor, then there is a new Papua Guinea, South Australia, full is like Christian based. So they wanted to remain retain to with they wanted to be with those people, not with these Muslim people. So that is the scenario. Now they attacked on them, and in 1935 August time frame, I believe within 2 days there were 2,000 people they killed. 2,000 people they killed. Massive massacre. By next year, May 17, 1977, so May 1977, they made a major attack again. So Delhi is the capital of East Timor. The south of the Delhi, I believe Eole or some place name is there. They slaughtered 4,000 people in May 1977, and that slaughtering continued. So by February 1978, by February 1978, the 78, the report came that they have killed around 50,000 to 1 lakh, that is 100,000 people. That is the East Timor massacre. What is the problem of the local people? Earlier, they were sidelined by Portuguese people. They lost their religion also. This is what I would say. So these are part of Indian subcontinent. This much bloodbath is going on, but the government sitting in India, if anything happens in New York, if anything happens in Switzerland, if anything happens in London, then there is a high diplomatic activity starts in India. Suddenly, okay, if anything happens at these places, lot of discussion will happen. What is happening in Washington and what is happening in San Francisco, what is happening in Berlin and what is happening in kind of Scotland and this land or that land or Switzerland. Okay, but in their own region, that is Indonesia, this much bloodbath is going on and no one knows it. So bloodbath of 75, 76, and then by 70 and 77, it is called that around 50,000 to 100,000 people were slaughtered. Now people started surrendering. The people who were local, because they were killing local people. Local people, they started surrendering to the Indonesian army or militia supported by the Indonesian army. Now, around 5 lakhs people, around 4 lakhs, around 4,000 people were in the captivity camp now. Now they are scanning person to person. If they find anything related to insurgency in the East Timor that they want their own country, they were directly killing them. And there is no good food, no sanitation. With that, around 80,000 people they died. I won't say they got killed by the army. They died there only in the camps. Around 4 lakh people they came to the camp, 400,000 people, 85. So by 1978 79, so it is called, then They start then 1981 again they started the attack. 1983 Indonesia they launched clean sweep motto, clean sweep activity. Now clean sweep people who do not want to stay with us. There again thousands of people killed. So by 1983 the United Nations other they reported around 300,000, 3 lakhs people got slaughtered. This is massacre of East Timor, something that never happened in the history anywhere. In this short span of time, 8 years, 300,000 people got killed in East Timor just to annex them and make 27th state of Indonesia. Same what happening in Balochistan. No, means post 1947, when a party came in India, the Indian subcontinent is going through massacre, bloodbath, whatever, whoever wants, whatever they want, they do. Means there is no heed on that. Now, in 1991, again protest is going on in support of East Timor being a separate country. Again bloodbath in 1991, massacre of 1991. Now, this much could not be tolerated by people who are living worldwide, not by India. Means India is happy in LPG cylinder rate and then manure, then fertilizer rate and tractor rate, and then damming every river and living a city life, town life. That is the where India is busy now. So, so all over the globe, people became warned that this is the way it cannot continue like this. So at the end, finally in 1999, there is a referendum that how many people they want separate country. In referendum, almost all people they voted, around 99% people I think they participated in the election, and then almost all they went for separate country as not be part of Indonesia. Again massacre, massive massacre. There was a militia supported by the army. Now since United Nations, America and many country reporter are there, then army cannot do the slaughtering on its own. There is another matter. Now the militia group supported by army means don't see it, but the we have seen the heads in photographs how these militias after slaughtering they are carrying on their vehicle and enjoying. Means this much 1999 massacre because of the referendum that happened in East Timor. Finally, East Timor became a separate country. Delhi is the capital, and post this massacre or massacre was going on in 1999. Post this referendum, then finally the Australian peacekeeping army entered in the East Timor because there was no solution to it. So United Nations along with the Australian peacekeeping, then finally Indonesia withdraw its army from the East Timor, and then slowly East Timor become independent country. And I believe that it should Kofi Annan was the head of United Nations, and he worked a lot for the kind of peaceness in the East Timor. So he should be praised for that. Means it happened in my remembrance. So anyway, now East Timor is a after that at least nothing is heard from the Delhi or East Timor. These are part of Indian subcontinent. When father is busy in drinking, then what will happen to children? This is what you saw. I believe that things would change and it will not be a peaceful country, it will be a prosperous country. East Timor it will not only a peaceful country, it will come to a stage where it will be a prosperous country. This is what we aims.